Hey guys, Sovereign Jane Jenkins here. So I am back talking about my book. P Policy is about setting boundaries and maintaining self-respect. It's a self-help book to elevate the consciousness of young women in society. So today I want to talk about how a lot of people have trauma early on in their life, and it causes them to have identity confusion, especially in their teenage years. So follow me. So my first touch point with trauma happened when I was very young, probably around 3 or 4 years old. And it was when my mom came home from the hospital after she had gotten into a DV situation and she had multiple bruises and a broken nose. And I was so young at that point to where it had a great impact on me, and I did not realize it because I did not even know that this was my mother. Like, something in my brain disassociated with my mother, who was very beautiful, very vibrant, very outgoing and happy, smiley, to this person who has just been battered and bruised with all of these purple splotches on her. It's like my mind could not conceive the fact that this is the same person. It also reinforced the concept of object impermanence. Something is there 1 minute, then it's gone the next minute, or it's there 1 minute, or it's altered and it shows up different the next minute. Because if my mom could disappear for a couple of days and come back bruised and battered, anything's possible in this life, especially when it comes to other people and other relationships. I had to get used to the fact that people are not going to be in your life for your entire life. They're going to come for a season, they're going to go for a season. That is okay. And you should not feel any type of way about that, because at the end of the day, life in itself is all about the experience. It's about getting to knowing people. It's about getting to that point of enjoying your space and your time with those people. In this book, I can look at it as if this book was filled with seasonal people, but no, this book was filled with instances and educational experiences that taught me lessons that I would not have learned unless I went through them personally. So this book, it's one of those books that's probably going to be at the back of the bookshelf, kind of like those Millie Jackson albums from the 70s. And I'm perfectly happy with that, because this in itself is one of those books to where it makes a statement. It's bold, it's brilliant, it's clear. It is about love triangles, unexpected connections, and the experiences of coming of age for a teenage black woman in this life during this time. So it really gets down to the point. There is no sugarcoating, there is no fluff. It's all fact, and well, it's all fact according to me, because this is my story. Somebody else might comment and say it's fiction, but hey, it's all up to your interpretation. Anywho, this book taught me also that it is okay to let go. Letting go does not mean giving up. Letting go means that I accept that something has come to an end, and I release this so it won't have any hold on me. And I don't feel guilty about releasing it, because clearly it was time to get that, whatever that situation is that was causing a cloud over me, out of my life. It came to an abrupt, sometimes it comes to an abrupt end, and it leaves you in this space of feeling upended. Like you don't know how to move, you don't know how to navigate life afterwards, because the ending of relationships or situationships or something that you thought was going to be there for the long haul, like say marriages, they end abruptly and cause so much trauma and chaos to where you can't automatically make a recovery. It takes time. It takes a couple of years. It takes an investment of personal development. It takes healing circles, retreats. It takes going to saunas and thinking and brainwashing and overthinking and underthinking and books, reading, getting new knowledge. It takes so much to actually get to that point of acceptance that someone has left your life, and that those trauma points happen to you because God knew that you can handle them. He didn't just give them to anybody. He gave it to somebody that knew could carry that on their shoulders and take that story and put it and display it to the world in a way that it is not traumatizing the world, but it just is what it is. It's setting a statement, and it's making a bold statement to somebody else, meaning if I went through this and I survived it, so can you. And I did not think that I could survive it. I thought this was going to be the end of me. I thought that the enemy won and that I was going to be one of those people to succumb to pressure and to the trials and tribulations that life presents. But life had it to where I had to be pressed to make a decision. I had to choose life or death. I had to choose enlightenment or captivity. And sometimes the captivity exists in the mind and not in the physical and 3D sense, in the lifetime sense. Sometimes the captivity is all in here, and you have to literally break the mental bondage in order to get out of that shell and think in a different way and move in a different light to where you ascend and you become the best version of yourself. You self-actualize. And that is the point of it all at the end of the day with this book and why I wrote it. Like, yes, it is salacious. It is a hell of a read. It's one of those books to where it will have you scratching your head and like, wow, I wouldn't have said that. But it's my story. I had to tell it the best way that I knew how. And I didn't take out anything. I just left it all in there. I didn't have someone read it and edit it to where it was no longer me and it was outside of my voice. No, this is straight out of Mississippi. ICU, analyzed down to the bone, like with a scalpel. I've analyzed every slither of information I wrote from my heart. And that's what made this book special to me, because not only is it my life story, but this has been the guiding force to where I healed from the past. Like, this has gotten me through such a tough time, especially in my early 20s, even though some people say that you have to go through it. It's unavoidable. You have to always keep your guards up. But yeah, sometimes even if your guards are up and you get hurt, you don't know how to emotionally manage those situations. You're just playing it by ear and going through that and figuring out what works. And to kind of circle back, the reason why there is so much identity confusion is because you put trauma on top of someone who is trying to find themselves and find their sense of self-worth in their adolescence anyway, because those formative years are going to dictate who they are to become down the line. So if you keep putting trauma into these people's lives when they're this young, they're going to continuously try to wrap themselves in a bubble to protect themselves, and they're going to be a shell of themselves by the time they become adults and have to face the world, especially if they have to face the world on their own. So this group of people, they are very vulnerable as it is. So it is best to try to protect them as much as you can if you're dealing with adolescents, and try not to further let them be traumatized and expose them to those types of touch points, because you're creating a monster in some cases. And sometimes they don't end up developing into good people, and they end up being menaces to society. And the young people, they are our tomorrow. So it is important to identify that these problems do exist, and they exist especially in that adolescence age period. And me personally, I rather the book that I first write, the very first one that kicks off my author career, be my own biography. So just like Maya Angelou wrote Why the Caged Bird Sings, this is my story as P policy, like setting boundaries and maintaining self-respect. That is the key to maintaining your sanity in this life. That's every nut and bolt that you need in order to navigate and deal with people and deal with problems. You have to have emotional intelligence. You have to know how to talk to people. You have to know how to emotionally regulate in a healthy way. And if you cannot do that, you have to know how to abandon that situation, because it is not healthy for you. You have to know what healthy relationships look like. You have to synthesize all these things that happen and analyze everything and question everybody in your life. Are they serving a purpose, or are they there to take? That is up to you to decide. And since we live in a world where everybody's so self-focused and self-sufficient, it's best that you be able to manage your mental health on your own. And if you cannot manage it on your own, you can easily get a therapist or a psychologist or somebody to help coach you through that time period. Because at the end of the day, yes, we do live in a lonely world, but it's only lonely if you choose to make it so. There are resources out there to help you along the way and to get you over those emotional humps that life presents you with. Because no, Life is going to hit you with some bumps, and it's going to be some bruises along the way, like for some people, literally. But at the end of the day, life is still worth living. So, love always, Sovereign Jane Jenkins. Check out the book on Amazon and Kindle and other online platforms, guys. Peace.